You're right on time for Hope TV News Watch on this 14th day of November 2023. A very good evening to you and welcome to the broadcast. My name is Kennedy Kimani and my co-presenter on the sign language interpretation tonight is Boniface Moridi. Now, Kenya has pledged to broaden its cooperation with Romania by signing 4 memoranda of understanding to cover areas of mutual interest such as agriculture, environmental conservation, ICT, disaster management, among others. Speaking today at State House, Nairobi, flanked by his Romania counterpart, President Klaus Iohannis, who is on a state visit to the country, President William Ruto linked the economic situation in Africa to the ongoing war in Ukraine, noting that it has also led to Kenya spending more money on supporting vulnerable communities. Our very own Grace Sahati begins our bulletin with the following story.
President William Ruto has attributed the dire economic situation in Africa to the ongoing Ukraine-Russia war, noting that it has raised the cost of living, forcing Kenya to spend more money on supporting vulnerable communities. Speaking after holding talks with Romania President Klaus Iohannis, who is visiting the state, President Ruto has called for a peaceful resolution of the Russia-Ukraine war, saying it has caused serious economic challenges in Africa.
And as a result of the war, we have a serious situation of escalating prices of food items. And that has resulted in higher costs of living in our continent, with very detrimental effects on populations, on people, especially those that are vulnerable. And as a result, it has led to a second thing, that we are now spending more money in supporting communities, supporting the agricultural sector. We're investing more money in subsidizing fertilizer for food production, fertilizer that is already very high in costs.
The two presidents also witnessed the signing of 4 memoranda of understanding on environmental protection and climate change, cooperation on sanitary, veterinary and food safety, among others, with Ruto exuding confidence that the implementation of the MOUs will escalate Kenya's and Romania's relations into an effective partnership.
I am confident that the implementation of these MOUs will escalate the relations into an effective partnership in areas of focus and create conditions for Kenya and Romania to expand the scope of collaboration to cover even more sectors in the now and near future. During our discussions, I requested His Excellency the President to join me in advocating for climate action and calling upon developed nations to work with us.
The two nations have at the same time stated that they are actively pursuing additional areas of partnership to further strengthen their ties.
President Iohannis and I also resolved to continuously work together both at the bilateral as well as multilateral levels to promote and support the achievements of the Global Development Agenda, including the Sustainable Development Goals.
Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Grace Ahati.
Thank you so much, Grace, for that report. Anne Njeri Njoroge, the Cliffy-based businesswoman in the 17 billion shillings diesel import dispute, has resurfaced today. Njeri went missing on Thursday last week, shortly after she went to record a statement at the DCI headquarters in Nairobi on Kiambu Road. The billionaire, at the center of a dispute between her and 2 oil companies, has narrated how a deal with the DCI, saying that she was abducted and taken to an unknown destination over the weekend.
I will also forward to you documents to show that she's the owner of the oil, that she's the owner of the importing companies. I will show you documents that show that every step and stage she followed, from the oil being loaded in the ship in Turkey up to the Jeddah, from Jeddah, all the ports where she passed are there. We have got the copies of insurance to show that she's the one who's paid insurance for it all. Who is Ramco? Where did they appear from? How can they now claim that they're the ones who owned this and they have got a paper trail of money? Why aren't they showing it? The reason why Anne has disappeared is so that she can be in custody as they siphon the fuel from the ship into Kenya pipeline containers. Once it is there, then we have a problem. Are we able to recover it back? Are we able to sue anybody? Are they going to say that they own the fuel? Kenya Pipeline must show us that the fuel that they are now trying to keep into their containers belongs actually to the persons who are telling them to do so. Before taking such an act.
A second petition has been filed challenging the government's decision to increase charges on several services. The petition has been filed by Frederick Bikeri, who claims that the increments pose a substantial hindrance to the fundamental rights of access to government services. Through lawyer Dunstan Omari, Bikeri argues the enforcement of unconscionable charges for government services undermines the principles of good governance, public welfare, and also violates fundamental rights and freedom. In issuing directions to the petition, Justice Lawrence Mugambi has directed that the petition be mentioned on the 29th of this month, together with the first petition, as they are similar.
Under Article 47 of the Constitution, which talks of fair administrative action, the Cabinet Secretaries have failed the test of a fair administrative action, because that action is completely irrational. That action of extending taxation beyond the reach of the ordinary citizens is a question that Kenyans want to know. We will not relent by sideshows of planting trees. We will demand affordable services by government. A fundamental question that we have raised in that petition is that raising the amount you charge government services is an aspect of taxation. What profit do people who are marrying each other make so that government taxes them? What profit does a mother and a father who have a child, what profit do they make for government to raise the cost of a birth certificate so that they are making any profit? So let government focus on taxation on businesses, but on government services, Huduma services, the Hansard record says Huduma was supposed to be provided for free. Now, if every Huduma service is being put beyond reach.
Religious leaders from Pentecostal churches and the Church and Clergy Association of Kenya have raised concern over the recent proposed increase in fees on government services and the high cost of living. According to the leaders, the increase of fees to access government services is unfair and inhumane to Kenyans who are already suffering. Addressing journalists today in Nairobi, the clergy, led by their chairman Bishop Hudson Ndenda, have called on President William Ruto to rethink and retrace his boardroom decisions. Alice Diana with this report.
To know you.
Religious leaders from different denominations have continued to raise alarm over certain pertinent issues that are of concern to the church and the people of Kenya, including the high cost of living and increased taxation. Religious leaders under the Church and Clergy Association of Kenya, CCAK, are the latest to raise their voices over the escalating cost of living and the recent proposed increase of government services, among other issues. Speaking today in Nairobi, the religious leaders led by CCAK chairperson Hudson Ndenda particularly pointed out that increase in marriage registration fees will discourage people from getting married in a godly way.
If the fees that is suggested will be charged on people doing a wedding, that will be double taxation, because as a church we buy marriage books at 25,000 from the government so that we can register marriages. And so charging the same people again, the much that was proposed, it is double taxation. And two, it will discourage the young people from getting married in a godly way. And therefore, at the end, then probably that can only encourage LGBTQ and prostitution and other things. which we don't want to see in this nation.
The leaders have also opposed the proposed digital identification of newborns. According to the bishops, the matter needed clarification and public participation before any implementation.
Remember the Huduma number. Nobody is talking about it again. It is the same thing we are being taken through, which in essence has not benefited any Kenyans to date. Why would your administration seek to engage us in a digital activity which did not have public participation and is masked in secrecy? We urge you to publicly come out and explain to Kenyans the process you undertook to agree on this dark endeavor, and further, why you want our unborn children to be enrolled in something that Kenyans have no choice over.
The men of cloth have at the same time called on President William Ruto to come out and declare his stand on matters LGBTQ. They have also raised concern that should the decriminalization of sex work and workers bill be passed, then this country could be staring at a bleak future.
Yote ambayo tumesikia maybe here says we want the head of state to come clear and speak over the same. Akishaongea mwenyewe ndio Wakenya watajua kwamba now it is an official, because being the father of the nation we will take it more seriously akiwa ameliongelelea. Niposa kama kanisa tunasema kwamba haya mambo yanafanyika. Tumejaribu kulizungumzia mahala hapa mara mingi na bado amenyamaza. Ndio tunataka serikali izungumuze wazi, iweke kila kitu kinagaubaga, tuelewe ni nini inaendelea kuhusu LGBTQ.
The church is aware with the consternation and awe that a bill has been introduced in Parliament with the aim of decriminalizing prostitution. Why would he even have a conversation, such a conversation in our country, yet people are dying for lack of food and water and health and sanitation, and we begin to talk about prostitution?
And on the escalating cost of living, the leaders want President Ruto to reconsider his taxation method.
The government must come up with homegrown solutions that cushion the pocket of the common mwananchi. We speak to you because we see the people coming to our churches every week. Kenyans are tired, in debt, oppressed, and angry. People cannot enjoy the work of their labor. Things have become too heavy on them. Standard Group.
Alice Diana, Hope TV News Watch.
Thank you so much, Alice, for that report. 5 people in the 94 million Quickmart heist have been detained for 10 days pending investigation and subsequent directions from the Office of the Directorate of Public Prosecutions. The 5, Ismail Patrick Gitonga, Michael Matolo Njeru, Samuel Onyango Haya, Martin Deri Nganga, and James Mbatia Kariuki, appeared before the magistrate Zainabu Abdul, while the prosecution sought orders to have them detained for 21 days. The police wanted them to be detained at Capitol Hill Police Station in Nairobi region headquarters to complete the investigations.
And that they were arrested at their homes, which are known to the police. The respondents are also said to have been held in Comunicado, and the court was urged to direct that they have access to their advocates and families. Both counsels in their submissions were of the view that should the application be allowed, the respondents be detained at Kileleshwa Police Station. I have considered the application and the submissions thereto. There is no doubt that a colossal amount of money was lost by the complainant, hence there is need to have proper and conclusive investigations conducted. There are various dates which have been cited as to the dates of arrest, and there is no consensus between the parties. The application is merited, and the same is allowed in the following terms. Number 1, the 1st, 3rd, and 5th respondents be taken to hospital for treatment. The 4th respondent be allowed to take his medication. Number 2, the police to allow access to counsels and relatives, but the same to be controlled so as not to impede the investigations in as far as time consumed by such access is concerned. And lastly, the respondents be held at Capitol Hill Police Station for a period of 10 days to complete investigations, and the matter be mentioned before this court on the 27th of November this year. These are the orders of the
Various religious leaders have mourned Apostle Dr. Joe Kayo. Speaking at the memorial service at Sitam Karen Church today, the leaders have eulogized him as a remarkable church leader who played a pivotal role in the growth of the church in the country and the entire world. Apostle Kayo founded the Deliverance Church in Kenya and Uganda, Juba Pentecostal churches, and also founded the Family of God churches. Kayo passed away on the 2nd of November at the age of 86. Kayo leaves behind a widow and 3 children. The cleric is expected to be buried tomorrow in Nairobi.
Mzee was an amazing man. Very, very amazing. I remember there was a time I went to play badminton at the roundabout near Kasarani, where the Kasarani stands. There used to be a roundabout there. So we used to go and play badminton with him. Sometimes he would tickle us. He was a great dad. And we are really going to miss him so much. But at the same time, we thank God for he has rested. His work has been done. He has preached for a very long time, 66 years. I'm sure here, the majority are under that age. But we thank God that he stood fast.
Grandpa, you were a man of purpose, vision, and mission. When I first met you, I met my purpose. Your message was Jesus, and your legacy will live on through me and through generations to come. Thank you for your labor of love for our family and for the body of Christ. I love you, Grandpa. I'll see you again.
He made me learn a lot. He taught me a lot. Even in the gospel, I grew really a lot. I never knew even some things, even to worship. But he made me to learn a lot. And what I have today, and the testimony I have today, is because of him, to give me the courage he has given me, to work with me. And I remember even this message when we came to visit him, he said, no matter how this, you will ask yourself so many questions. Why? But you'll never get an answer for that. I remember that's the message he gave us when we came to visit before Dad went to be with the Lord.
I owe Kayo a lot, personally. But I have been following him, you may not know, and have chipped in many areas, even in money, but not at the later days. So I have a ministry, it's Joe Kayo's. I have the Full Gospel Business and Fellowship, which is now a big ministry in Africa, in Nigeria, Joe Kayo.
Here as a product of the prayers of the apostle. I am here as a product of the prayers of the apostle. You are being told he spent a lot of time in prayer and he brought lots of change. It is from there that now I started going to Kariakor during the holidays and attended literally every convention that was there.
A section of PWD's vendors in Nairobi participated in peaceful protest over the mounting challenges faced by disabled vendors in the Nairobi Central Business District. This comes 3 weeks after Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja put new rules to tame hawkers from invading pavements and sections of streets within the CBD. Led by the Disabled Vendors Community Chairperson Joel Lamwangi and nominated Senator Crystal Asige, the vendors presented their petition to the clerk of the Senate and the Nairobi County Assembly. As Gloria Musimbi now reports, among the issues they want addressed are the harassment by the Nairobi County Enforcement Officers, famously known as the Kanjos, restrictive time, exclusion, and the discrimination by the county government.
Just 3 weeks after Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja banned vendors from selling in some areas of the CBD and on passenger walkways, a section of disabled vendors peacefully protested over mounting challenges, including harassment by kanjos, unwarranted crackdowns and exclusion by the county government. The vendors marched from the Kencom building and headed to the Senate, then ending it at the office of the governor where they tabled their petition. Led by Joel Mwangi, chairperson of Disabled Vendors Community in Nairobi, the disabled vendors decried neglect, especially during dispersal by city askaris, commonly known as kanjos, while urging the county government to issue signed licenses at a reasonable cost to shield them against unwarranted crackdowns.
Sehemu ambazo tunatolewa, unapata watu wa vitabu wanapewa hizo spaces. So unatolewa leo, kesho unapata mtu wa vitabu. Unatolewa pande ingine, kesho unapata mtu wa shoeshine ameweka pale. So tunaona ni discrimination. Ya jambo lingine ni kwamba ukiangalia katika CBD kumejazwa containers. Hizi containers hizi kama walemavu. Hakuna container hata moja.
The vendors who have now turned to the Senate want intervention to fix their issues and claim that their social and economic rights are under constant threat.
Waache kutuhalas. Hiyo ndio kitu ambao tunaomba. Waache kutuhalas, watupatie opportunity ya kufanya kazi. Tumekuwa tukifanya kazi in designated areas. Different tukiwa scattered. Na hivyo ndivyo hata saa hii tunaomba ya kwamba tupewe nafasi tufanye kazi in designated areas zile ambazo sisi tumekuwa tukioperate jinsi ambao ana consider watu wa vitabu, hata sisi pia atu consider hivyo ndio tuendelee. Na kama ni mambo ya license, sisi tumeruhusiwa mambo ya kutolipa kodi na nini hiyo direct, lakini unajua sisi wote ni walipa kodi. Kwa sababu ninapoenda supermarket vile unaenda, nalipa kodi vile unalipa.
Addressing the press, nominated Senator Crystal Lasige has called for dialogue between county government officials and the vendors' representatives to come up with policies favorable to PWDs as per the constitution.
Umewaambia watu wako, karao, watufukuze from our spaces hapa CBD. Hatuelewi. Tafadhali, we are here to speak, tuanze dialogue kwa sababu hatutaki shida. Tunataka kuendelea na biashara zetu, si ndio? Hatutaki kupigana. We want dialogue. We were here 3 weeks ago, Governor, hatukusikizwa. We came for public participation, hatukusikilizwa. Na leo tumerudi tena to say with a very strong voice, in one voice as people with disability, huwezi kutusukuma whether physically or whether mentally or whether spiritually. We will not rest. We stand together as people with disability.
Asige also cautioned other county government officials in the county against the harassment and exclusion of PWDs and urged them to provide opportunities as per the rights guaranteed under the Constitutional and Disability Acts.
I just want to give a caution to other counties as well. This is not just happening in Nairobi. It's happening all around us 47 counties. And we are saying that if it starts here, where the capital is, and the county government takes us seriously here, it will propel and be like a domino effect for all other 47 counties to know the people with disabilities are not going to be pushed around any longer. We are here demanding our space, demanding our rights, and demanding to be heard. From today onwards, we are not going to rest. So let it be a cautionary statement and stand to all of Kenya to say we are here and we're here to say nothing without us, nothing for us without us.
Despite being blocked by police officers earlier, the protesters managed to present their petitions and air out their grievances. Reporting for OpTV Newswatch, I'm Gloria Musimbi.
Thank you so much, Gloria, for that report. 3 people have been shot dead by bandits at the Kamunono sub-location along the border of West Pokot and Turkana counties. Confirming the incident, West Pokot County Commissioner Apollo Okello said the 3 were ambushed while riding on a motorcycle. West Pokot County Police Commander Peter Katam has however said that police officers have combed the area and searched for the perpetrators. Peace efforts in the North Rift region have received a major boost following the signing into law of the West Pokot County Peace Building and Conflict Management Bill. The bill that was passed by the West Pokot County Assembly last week will help in boosting security along the borders of West Pokot County. by putting in place strategies meant to curb perennial conflicts in the North Rift region. West Pokot Governor Simon Kachapin, who signed the bill into law, said the bill is crucial in coordinating peace programs and issues along the county borders.
West Pokot County, we have been having challenges along our borders and many other places. So it's just putting structures into the county on how we address these issues of insecurity. So they are all contained in the bill, and it gives also powers. It generates some committees also, so that they can be a formal way of addressing conflicts within our borders.
We have had perennial issues of conflict between our county and other neighboring counties, and we found it very important to have a directorate that will help us to coordinate on issues of peace building, conflict resolutions, especially within our borders, because we can't do anything without having a peaceful society. So we found it necessary so that we have a better coordination on issues of peace, because over time it's only the national government which has been coordinating on issues of peace.
Hapo awali hatukukuwa na sheria yoyote ambayo ilikuwa inashughulikia na maneno ya amani, na kungekuwa na tukio lolote la ukosefu la usalama, hapa kukuwa na mtu ambaye angeweza kupanga wengine ili kushughulikia mambo hayo. Na kwa hivyo wakati tumepitisha hii sheria, inaweza kusema kwamba ni nani ndio mwenyekiti ya kikao hiki ya kuitisha maneno ya amani, ambapo kwa hii sheria tumeweka ni governor wakishirikiana na county commissioner. Kuna other members kama wale police commandant, CCs anayohusika na maneno ya amani, CEOs na watu wengine washikadau ambao wanahusika na maneno ya amani.
You're watching Hope TV News. It's now time for a quick news break, but after the break I'll be back with the business and sports news. Stick around.
My best part about being a Hope FM listener was Hope Through the Night. My radio was always on at night, just worshiping and getting the sermons at the top of every hour, and it really made me a stronger worshiper. It made me a stronger worshiper. My best part about being a Hope FM staff has to be treasure hunt with the boys and girls every Saturday morning, being Auntie Rhoda. Oh, I just loved teaching the children. There's a child who wrote in her composition, she was writing about her family, and she wrote one of her aunties is Auntie Rhoda. I was so happy because I'd never met her, but they knew me as their auntie, and just teaching them in the ways of the Lord. So I really thank God for every moment I spent at Hope FM, and even for now, being impacted as a listener.
Friday Frenzy. It's been a year of non-stop vibes, laughter, and incredible moments with Tiffany Wamboy and DJ Kevin on Friday Frenzy. Well, we'd like to celebrate this milestone together. Join us on the 17th of November 2023 at the Huruma Grounds from 4 p.m. till late for the ultimate Friday Frenzy Anniversary Bash. Brace yourselves for mind-blowing performances by Diddy Man, MC Ocampo, Timeless Noel, Jappy D, and the sensational Dangari. Special thanks to our sponsor Kia Mike Award, Sita Missions, Hope FM, Hope TV, and Star Times.
In order to keep hope alive in the airwaves, Hope Media has a couple of initiatives. Friends of Hope. Friends of Hope is you and I forming a team of well-wishers and volunteers who give in cash and kind to support in spreading the gospel at Hope Media. Currently, Hope Media is running a campaign under Friends of Hope dubbed 100 for 1. Through the campaign, Hope Media is asking Hope FM and Hope TV listeners and viewers to give just 100 shillings in order to reach one more soul with the message of hope and the gospel. Engage with us on our social media platforms at Hope FM Live and at Hope TV Kenya. Kuwa rafiki mso leo.
Welcome back. Now let's get down to business. The price of super petrol in the country will remain the same at a high of 217 shillings for the next month. This is according to a review released today by the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority. The price of diesel and kerosene has, however, slightly reduced by 2 shillings per litre to retail at 203 shillings and 47 cents and 203 shillings and 6 cents respectively in Nairobi. Now, the government is in the final stages of preparing to release the enhanced coffee cherry advance revolving fund to farmers. Speaking today after holding a meeting with coffee sector stakeholders, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has revealed that the government has allocated 4 billion shillings to aid in supplementing the earlier allocation of 2.7 billion shillings. And as our very own Veronica Wanjiru reports, the Deputy President has assured the stakeholders that the distribution of funds will prioritize deserving farmers.
Addressing stakeholders in the coffee subsector during a meeting at his official residence in Karen, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has emphasized that the plan is ongoing refinement to ensure efficiency and transparency in its execution. The Deputy President underscored the commitment of the government to revive and elevate the coffee subsector, emphasizing their resolve to resist any attempts to derail the ongoing reforms.
If they can agree, we have no interest in destabilizing existing institutions. We don't have an interest. They have invested here. If they can agree to share the profit with the farmers, we don't have a problem. But if they disagree, we must do it ourselves. I want to assure you, good people, we are determined. Yeah? And we are not letting go. And I can tell you, these things are going to change. This coffee thing, we are going to bring it back to where it was in the 70s and 80s.
President William Ruto has entrusted Gachagua with steering reforms not only in coffee, but also in tea and dairy sectors.
To 80 shillings per kilo.
Gachagua expressed optimism about the potential of the implemented changes, stating that they could transform coffee farming into a lucrative venture for smallholder farmers.
This thing we must win, because it used to work then. And nothing has changed. The farmers are the same, the soils are the same, the environment is the same. It's only when we liberalized, the private people came and then they shortchanged the farmer. What I want viongozi muambie wakulima watulie tu kidogo. Unajua hakuna kizuri tapatikana rahisi. Na hii vita pia ni kali. Unajua watu wamekula watu 30 years, watoa hiyo kitu kwa mdomo watakuuma. It's not easy, but we are determined and we are up to it.
Emphasizing the urgency of success, Gachagua has pointed out that farmers are relying on the government for improved returns.
This thing we must win, because it used to work then. And nothing has changed. The farmers are the same, the soils are the same, the environment is the same. It's only when we liberalized, the private people came and then they shortchanged the farmer. What I want viongozi muambie wakulima watulie tu kidogo. Unajua hakuna kizuri tapatikana rahisi. Na hii vita pia ni kali. Unajua watu wamekula watu 30 years, watoa hiyo kitu kwa mdomo watakuuma. It's not easy, but we are determined and we are up to it.
On his part, Cooperatives Cabinet Secretary Simon Chelugui affirmed the government's commitment to ensuring that the cherry fund benefits deserving farmers.
The intervention of 4 billion shillings, in addition to the existing 2.74 billion shillings, has gone a long way to create interest in this value chain. Farmers are happy and they're really, really expectant. The enhanced cherry fund means, as you already announced, we are moving from 20 shillings per kilo, which has been the case, to 80 shillings per kilo.
Veronica Wanjiru, Hope TV News Watch.
And to some sport in action now, marathon world record holder Calvin Kiptum has made it to the final shortlist of the 5 athletes contesting for the 2023 Male World Athlete of the Year. The 23-year-old broke the world record by 34 seconds with a time of 2 hours 35 seconds at the Chicago Marathon in October. He will come up against javelin world champion Neera Chopra, shot put world record holder Ryan Crouser, Paul Volta, Mondo Duplantis, as well as USA sprinter and world champion in both 100 and 200 meters races Noah Lyles. The winner will be announced on the 11th of December as part of the World Athletics Awards 2023. Now, thousands gathered at Old Trafford to pay their respects to the late Manchester United great Sir Bobby Charlton. The 1966 World Cup winner's funeral cottage was welcomed with gentle applause as it drove past the stadium's East Stand and the United Trinity statue. Well, with that, you come to the end of our news tonight. Many thanks to you for watching Hope TV News Watch. On behalf of the whole team that made this broadcast a success, have yourselves a blessed night. My name is Kennedy Kimani, and Boniface Murithi has been my co-presenter on the sign language interpretation.
So this parent calls me, sits after service and says, "Young man, you do not know what you've done," because it tells me that my son comes and tells me that, "Dad, I have also been struggling with ABCD. His was a mix of alcohol and pornography. And just hearing Justo on Route 104, I feel a young person like me give his testimony on how God has moved in his life." And I requested to meet the young man, and we met over coffee, became good friends. And I told him as well, listen, by me sharing does not mean, because the devil puts banana peels all over. Now, scripture tells us that, no weapon fashioned against you shall prosper. It doesn't say that weapons will not be fashioned. No, it says no weapon. It means weapons will be fashioned. And he will put traps all over. Right from your phone. You open Instagram, you see an image. And all of a sudden, it plays back. All those things. So that's another, because the battle is in the mind. That is why Paul says in Romans 12:1, not be conformed by the patterns of the world, but rather be transformed by the renewing of the mind. He knows it's here. The devil knows. And this guy is millions of years old. He's not our age mate. For those who remember when I used to tell us that night, he's not your age mate. Stop saying at you, me, I know at you have been saved for 15 years. Dude, the devil has been in existence for millions of years. So guess what? He knows everything about you. Okay? But greater is he that is in you than he was. We walked together, and I'm happy to say that he found his deliverance. And he became also a peer champion, as it is, an educator. And for me, those are some of the things that, wow, without Hope FM, really the platform of Hope FM, and as Reverend Tomboy used to tell us as well, this is a platform not for you, but God is using you. The initiative Friends of Hope is more or less like what Romans 10:17 says, that faith comes only by the hearing, and hearing through the word of God. But how will they hear if somebody does not go to tell them? Think about that Muslim brother or sister who, because of you being a friend of Hope and supporting with your 100 bob or whatever it is, that in Friday evening, by chance, they listen to Yesu Ndiye. And then because of you supporting and being a friend of Hope, the message will reach them in Zanzibar, in Mombasa, in whatever it is. Mimi ni Rafiki Mso. I'm a friend of Hope. I'm just a Zawaka. I would like for you pia ukwe Rafiki Mso.